All right. Welcome, everybody, to the crossover. Today is Friday the 13th.
I feel like we do
Friday.
that a lot.
I do think we've had a few Friday the 13th, haven't we? Is that right?
Well, I mean, if you have a show on a Friday, it's bound to happen. Especially if we've been doing this for 4 years now, 5 years.
You're going to get a few of them for sure. Okay.
Yeah,
How are you doing?
great. Just watch the game. Exciting game.
Very good game.
Good ending.
Very good. Yeah. They. Do you know what the spread was on that game?
5.5. I think they covered, right?
They covered.
Yeah.
They definitely covered. Okay. So, to start off the show, we have mail days. I don't believe you have any mail days.
That's impossible.
I don't think you're getting any mail where you are.
This is my last Friday here at this place, so we'll be back to normal, hopefully getting some mail days. I know you got something.
Nice. Yeah, I have 4 mail days.
That's it?
Yeah. It's been a torrential downpour of cards coming available. So let me just go through these really quick. All right. So first one is the 2019 Panini Contenders Optic Uniformity insert. This is the first year of this insert, and this is the gold vinyl 1/1 parallel, graded CSG 8.5, and came from overseas. I saw it on eBay and I basically bin smashed it. And then I was later alerted to the fact that it had sold on Card Hobby for 60% of what I paid for it. So somebody bought it on Card Hobby, threw it on eBay, and then I bin smashed it and helped them make $500. So,
That sounds like a future crossover topic.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next one up is the 2023-24 Optic Gold Vinyl, Jokic 1/1. And this photo is from Ring Night in the opening game of the 2023-24 NBA season.
Oh, cool. But the photo's in game, right?
In game.
Cool.
Yep. The third of the 4 mail days is this one.
Oh my God.
This is the 2017 Vertex Capstones Onyx 1/1, Patrick Mahomes. And I've had the McCaffrey of this before, so I really liked how this looked.
Yeah.
And the owner of this card had I'd pestered him for years about it, and he finally relented. And then the final mail day. I mean, it's insane that these are all the mail days I've had in the last 2 weeks. The final mail day is this. So this is the 1998-99 Upper Deck flagship card number 230A, Michael Jordan, gold 1/1 parallel.
Jeez, your first MJ 1/1.
First, yeah, that's right. First MJ 1/1.
And to talk about the 230A.
Okay, so Michael Jordan appears a number of times in this base set, both in Series 1 and Series 2 of 98-99 Upper Deck. But every MJ appearance is either themed, such as it has the game dated theme, or to the net theme, or heart and soul theme to the card itself, or it's a checklist, except for cards numbered 230A through W. Those cards have no theme. They're just regular cards, and they appear in Series 2. And so there's 23 of them, 230A, B, C, D, etc. to W, and each one has 1/1, and the one I just showed is the 1/1 to 230A.
Nice. So it's a base card. It's a parallel to the base.
Yes, it is.
So are
Correct.
there other parallels of that one? There's I remember there was green and red. Am I thinking of the right year?
There are not green and red parallels. I believe there is a parallel numbered to 100 as well. I think there's one other parallel.
So you consider this playing days then? Well, I forget where you stand on the
it's here's how I divide that up. It's not associated with a playing season because MJ did not play in the 1998-99 season. It does fall within his playing days, which extended from 1984-85 through 2002-2003. So it does fall within his active period as a professional athlete. And I think 1993-94 and 1998-99 are edge cases because they document what he did in the 1997-98 season. And he was rostered until January, or I'm sorry, he was not retired until January of 1999. That was a very weird season with the lockout. It was a lockout shortened season. So he wasn't active for 1998-99. That's the big point there. So it's really hard to say that 1998-99 is associated with an active season because he didn't play during that season. But, you know, it documents the 97-98 season. So I just, is it the same in my mind as like a 2021 Jordan card? No, but I think it's closer to being a playing days card than one of those is. But I also don't think it's as much of a playing days card as a 97-98 is, or a 88-89 is, or something like that.
Yeah, Upper Deck was knowing that MJ was probably going to retire, and they just like, let's get one more year out of this and just make a ton of MJ cards. They have like MJ exclusive sets and all that stuff, and they obviously put him in the checklist a lot.
Yep. So he has 102 one-of-ones, whether it's inserts, MJ only insert sets, base sets. He has 102 up through 1998-99. So there's 102 base set or insert set one-of-one MJs through the 1998-99 season and including the 1998-99 season. And there's 8 printing plate one-of-ones on top of those 102 from Stadium Club. So there's 4 in 1997-98 and there's 4 in 1998-99. And that's it. That's the full run. And what's kind of cool about the 1998-99 Upper Deck is that was the first year that Upper Deck basketball ever provided a one-of-one to its base set. So there's some novelty with that, I guess.
Yeah, so a lot of the one-on-ones are after 97-98.
Yeah. Yep. 1997-98 has 7, I think. Yeah, it has the 4 Flair Showcase one-of-ones, 2 Ultra one-of-ones, and the Power Deck Insert one-of-one, which is like a CD card, basically, but it's a one-of-one. So there's 7 in that year, and then there's 95 in 98-99. I'm pretty sure that's how that math broke down.
Nice. So, congrats, man. That's amazing. It's like,
thanks, man.
It feels weird to have to not give all the shine to that Mahomes, because on any other week that'd be your biggest pickup of, you know, the month, basically. And it's like second. It's second this time. Even the Jokic is like a pretty big one.
Yeah, well, it was funny. Like that first Jokic, like that was kind of me forcing the action again a little bit, just like, oh, this is cool, you know, first year.
That was shouldn't have done that. That you should have known that was.
Yeah. But now I'm in scramble mode. So, and I'm gonna have some really cool mail days next week too. It's just been a flood of cards after I was complaining for months that I couldn't really find any. Now they're flooding in.
You can't.
All right, so you
can't force the one-on-ones to come to you. You just gotta wait till it happens.
Exactly. You cannot force it. All right. Let's. We have a card letter announcement. Do we want to do that really quick?
I have it ready. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go. Let me. Can I bring up your screen? There we go. Okay.
You see, I got the 2 tabs ready to go.
Let's go. The GPT tab. Yeah, that's clutch.
Yeah. Sales history and GPT. Okay, so we added Card Hobby this week. I kind of want you to chat about the implications of like an overseas platform, maybe speak to the confirm pay, but I just wanted to show just quickly like the tech side of the change we made. We added Card Hobby to sales history. You can see it as a platform in the dropdown. It's not on the mobile app yet because it requires an update, and Apple is a little bit slow to get things going. So I'm working on that, but it will show you Card Hobby, but not in the platform dropdown. And then we also added this text here to the platform that says in parentheses confirmed paid, because there was some confusion around what sales we're letting through with Card Hobby, and I'll let you speak to that more. But we added the same to Alt. So those are currently the only two platforms we have that the sales come to us through an API, and they are confirmed paid by the platform themselves. So they're being accountable for these cards being paid.
And we can give Fanatics a nod as well, because they're providing us paid information on a bit of a delay too, right?
Yes, for the weekly premiere and Vault, Fanatics is providing us all the sales immediately, and then if there's a default on a monthly cadence, they'll send us a list of the sales that did not go through, and we'll just delete them from our database.
Yeah, so the direction is a little bit different. It's like Alt and Card Hobby wait to feed us sales until they are confirmed paid. Fanatics tells us after the fact when stuff defaults on payments after the payment window has closed.
Yes, so there's a question about the Card Hobby on the mobile app. The data is there. You just can't see the platform in the drop down when you're trying to filter, if that makes sense. So if you search text, you'll see the sales come in on mobile. You just won't be able to like filter down to only Card Hobby. And
Right.
a lot of these, I'll let you talk more about the Chinese text on the title and why we decided to do that. But a lot of these still have a lot of the English words sprinkled into them, so you should be able to capture a lot of them just by searching the titles. And they pick, like, most of the sellers pick the keywords that they think you're going to type in for English, and you'll capture most of them. So we always teach people in sales history to type less, not more, and then start to like whittle it down as you go. That is going to hold even more true for this.
Yeah, that's excellent. Thank you for explaining that and walking through it. And there are some really pretty high profile sales that have taken place on Card Hobby. I believe that the sales history for Card Hobby goes back to around the middle of 2023.
September of 2023.
September 2023. Okay. Yeah, I mean, here's a Kobe Logoman auto sale from 2012 NT that sold for almost 100 grand over there, confirmed paid. Mahomes NT out of 15. Okay, so we talked about the confirmed paid aspect of the Card Hobby stuff, as well as alt and how that works for Fanatics too. The titles part, we are simply taking the titles from Card Hobby in the identical fashion to which they are listed on Card Hobby's marketplace. So we are simply capturing this data accurately and without modifying it in terms of how it appeared on the Card Hobby platform. And so that might prove a little bit frustrating for people trying to search sales that have inadequate titling or partially accurate titling, and it's going to require a lot more sophistication with searching. Yeah, go ahead, Josh. Yeah, but you can but you can use to the extent that we're able to capture the cert from the slab, you can use the view sales of similar feature to help you track them down a little bit too. So but yeah, the goal here is to capture the sale as it happened on Card Hobby, and that means you're going to see a lot of Chinese symbols in titles, and you're also going to see if and when sellers include English in their titles, which they do a lot because they have a lot of English speaking customers who use Card Hobby. You'll see some English and some I suppose that's Mandarin. So okay, and then in terms of so people have raised concerns about us bringing in Card Hobby, and they're legitimate concerns. So some of the concerns that have been raised center around the fact that there are outlier sales that happen in both directions on Card Hobby, that there are auctions that are clearly shilled, and so to the extent that we can deal with that, we can treat that by only bringing in confirmed paid. I think that's a stride in the right direction, but we're certainly keeping an eye on it anyway, because paid status is not a 100% filter against manipulated prices. So we're going to keep an eye on it, and we're going to have open the same channels that we always have open for people to report shenanigans to us and provide proof of the shenanigans. And we'll also use common sense in reviewing this data too. Then there's also the fact that Card Hobby it's an overseas marketplace. I mean, to sign up for it, you have to go through certain steps. There's obviously a lack of confidence in buyers who are, buying there, especially for the first time or something like that, from here, from Canada, from various places, Australia, etc. People who are considering buying over there. I mean, there's a lot more hurdles to jump over. It's a bigger risk, obviously, that the card's going to get to you or not. The ability to avail yourself of dispute resolution, there's probably a lack of confidence surrounding the ability to do that. These are all legitimate points that have been raised. So our opinion on this is that we want collectors to have this information. There are a lot of important sales that have happened on Card Hobby, and there's just a lot of sales happening over their period. Hundreds and hundreds a day of confirmed paid that are going to be pouring in. But there's also the fact that this is an overseas market and it has a different buyer base. And sometimes there are outlier sales in both directions, high and low. So we're gonna treat this as a trial period, and we're gonna monitor it, and we're gonna look forward to feedback from the community to let us know directly, whether you DM us or you use Zendesk, use the feedback feature inside of the Card Ladder app to let us know, are these comps helpful? Are you seeing any bogus comps that we should be aware of? Help us establish a feedback loop here that can help us, see if this experiment is going to be successful bringing in their sales or not. So just want to say that we acknowledge that we've heard people raise concerns about this. We take the concerns very seriously, and we're going to do our best to make sure that we're putting credible, useful information in front of collectors. So we'll keep an eye on it. Hope everybody here keeps an eye on it and helps us out too. So
let me give one more opinion on it.
Okay.
Two more things to say. One, there's just so many interesting sales that I want in the database. That's just as like a businessman, but also as a collector, I just enjoy seeing these in Card Ladder. Like, they're just good sales. They're interesting. There's rare stuff that doesn't sell other than, once a month on Premier or Golden. So, like eBay used to sell lots of cool stuff like this, like rare exquisite stuff. There's like Logo Man 101 autos and stuff. That stuff never sells on eBay anymore, and it's all Golden and Fanatics. So it's nice to see another platform have these rare cards that you might not see sell in America. I like to see the comps. And as an individual, if you're a dealer or a buyer, just if you don't like the comps, don't use them. It's just more data. You can filter it out. We have platform drop downs to filter in and out. So if you don't like to use these when you're dealing, that's fine. The second thing is, we put a lot of work into this. Kristina and I have been working with the team over at Card Hobby for a while on this. We've gone back and forth on the best way to do it. We felt very strongly about it being confirmed only. We talked about only bringing in the graded sales and translating the text to English, which you and I discussed, and we thought, let's not manipulate the titles, because that may play a part in the price. I'd rather just see the raw data. So there's been a lot of discussion internally as a team, and a lot of work done by Kristina to work with the Card Hobby team. So this wasn't just like a quick decision by us to just pull these in. We've been working on this for a long time. So just know that we didn't take this lightly.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me grab a few live comments here. Flarb Darb would like to know, did I hear that right? You have to pay Fanatics for that data. Sorry if I said that. I completely misspoke. We are not saying anything about paying Fanatics for data, and we don't pay Fanatics for data. What I meant to say, or what I tried to convey, is that in terms of cards that sell in Fanatics's various methods of sale, which are the weekly auction, the Premier auction, and the Buy It Now marketplace that they have, they are updating us after their payment window, their grace period for payment closes, to let us know if anything did not get paid. And if it did not, then we perform a sweep where we remove those sales as soon as they let us know that they didn't get paid. But all right, thank you for that clarification. Chrissy Buckets wants to know, will Card Hobby show up in shop? I don't believe it does right now. Is that right?
No.
Okay.
We'd have to work with them to do that, but it doesn't currently.
Dan's Vintage Baseball PC points out the Chinese writing is not delineated by dialects like Mandarin and so forth. So thank you for that clarification, because I had no idea. So that has been clarified. And Flyer Darb would like to know, are tariffs included in the hammer price? And what you will see in sales history from Card Hobby is exactly what you will see on the Card Hobby page itself, from the title to the price.
Can I give a disclaimer on that last part you just said?
Sure.
The dates in which they sale are captured in USD price, so there may be a slight difference in the USD to, I'm going to totally screw it up, but whatever the currency is in Card Hobby is potentially like, you'll see like dollars and cents different, and it's because of the date that it was sold and the difference in the currencies. So I just wanted to give that.
Yeah, great point of clarification there. So we are reporting what Card Hobby reports, and I don't believe that they're reporting tariffs. And the tariff would need to be calculated retro, or it would need to be calculated well after the sale, because I don't believe that gets assessed until it's, if and when it's shipped abroad. And there are certainly buyers who are buying domestically on Card Hobby who I don't believe would be subject to those tariffs.
Correct.
Okay. So, all right. Ruben would like to know if the Card Hobby sales are denominated in the Vietnamese dong. No, they're not. Kristina has clarified as the yuan. Okay. All right. That was fun. Card Hobby comps and Card Ladder. Have fun. There's some really cool sales data in there. Okay. Yeah. Let me bring us back to the questions now. All right. So we got some questions, some premature questions about the finals here. So Maddie Smoke says, do we invest in base TJ McConnell or what?
Dude, I mean, it was really looking like the Pacers were going to go up 3-1, and then the Thunder went on a run to end the game basically and snatched it. So these games are so close.
This has been a great finals, I think.
Yeah.
From a competitive point of view, good games.
I just shake my head at everyone complaining about ratings and all this stuff. Just watch the damn games. They're so good. These two teams are really good. I gotta say, the Pacers are awesome. And the Thunder, obviously very good. They've been a great team all year, and I think that both teams are playing great.
Yeah, agreed. And so McConnell was fresh off of his 5 assists, 5 steal game.
The three steals were like the alien steals. I call the alien steals when you steal it on the inbounds.
Yeah,
in the backcourt.
Who's the guy on the Pelicans that was famous?
Oh,
for that?
But he does it different. He hides in the corner.
Yeah.
McConnell just he kind of pretends like he's not there, and then last second jumps up and steals it.
Right. Yeah, I mean that was nuts. To get 3 of those in a game was nuts.
Yeah.
Just beware the role player flash in the pan. I know that sounds a little bit harsh, but Mathurin has this 27-point game, and then
tonight he misses 3 free throws.
Misses the free throws that would have kept that game within reach. Just I would just say beware of that.
You didn't buy Mathurin's Black Prism after that game?
I didn't. Did you see the post? Oh God! I mean, you got
it.
It's on an Instagram account. I'm going to tell it to you so you can pull it up. The Instagram. Okay. The Instagram account is called Easy Real. Easy REAL _415.
Got it.
Okay.
He's got a Jalen Green logo man auto in his avatar.
Let me. Okay, there we go. All right, so his very first post. Yeah.
He was waiting.
Dude, he dropped that after the 27-point game.
Well, can I just say though, he went to my rival school, so
okay. So strike one.
Not a fan.
Yeah, right. Not a fan.
And he's always struck me as like a heat chucker guy. He kind of reminds me of who was that guy that was on the Heat for a while in the Cavs?
Dion Waiters?
Dion Waiters. He's got a little Dion Waiters to him. Yeah.
Kobe Wade.
Yeah.
That was his nickname, Kobe Wade.
So what's he got in here? What's he got?
What doesn't he have? I mean, he's got the Prism Black. He's got multiple golds.
Hell yeah.
He's got the rookie year flawless Logo Man auto.
The
Nebula rookie year Prism.
This is amazing.
Dude, he's got it all, man. Like in the top left, just casually up there are some contenders, 1-of-1s, rookie year. Yeah, I mean, this is the ultimate Matherin stash. I love when people like build these stashes. Like this is something people have been doing since I can remember. Just like picking a guy and just absolutely scooping up everything.
This is the only way to get a collection like this, is to just get them at release and just, hunt these down and really go after all of them. So this guy put in a lot of work.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. Look at this first comment. Look at this fucking guy. Very cool.
Dude, if you get the very cool from me, I mean, that guy was probably on cloud 9 all day after he saw that very cool.
Dude, he couldn't wait to post that. Good for him.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
let me pull up his box score tonight, though. 1 second.
Let's see.
See his box score tonight.
Let's have a look at that Matherin free throw percentage.
What goes up must come down, my friend. He was 8 points, 1 of 2 shooting, 5 of. Oh, he was 5 of 5. Oh no, he was 4 of 4, and then he missed 3, and then he made 1.
Yeah.
Dude, Halliburton is like the best in the NBA. Just absolutely zipping by guys and getting to the basket.
Oh, he's so fast.
He's incredibly quick.
He's even faster when you see him like in person. I don't know if you've been to a Pacers game since he's been on the team. He's so fast.
Dude, I was at a playoff game last year, remember?
Yeah.
They're like my adopted team.
Yeah. Awesome. That's right. I do remember that. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Let me get back to my questions. Okay. Next up we have from Os Collector. Oh man, this one, I think he jinxed him with this one. The Indiana Pacers. Please discuss the Indiana Pacers being the most clutch team ever.
Tonight, I think they gave up like a 9-0 run to lose the game, basically.
Yeah. Yes, they did. And it says the NBA is fun to watch. I do agree with that. It's a testament to what a quality product that the play of the sport itself is, that we overcome the announcing, we overcome the officiating, we overcome the presentation on the broadcasts, just because we want to watch the game that much. He goes on, Golden Auctions was at the last card show here in Australia, the Hobby Hangout. It would be the equivalent of your national. Card shows are starting to get big here.
Nice.
Glad to hear it. And then finally, Bron Reeves PC asks, have these playoffs helped or hurt Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's image?
We're talking about like the free throw stuff?
If you want to take it there. I mean, I don't really know what his image was coming in.
Yeah. He's kind of a quiet guy, not very famous or whatever in the media.
Right.
I like Shai. I know you guys don't like the free throw thing, but I mean, he leads the NBA in drives to the basket per game as well. Like, he probably gets a little bit more free throws than he should, and some of the fouls are stupid, and he kind of flops around a little bit. But he's awesome.
He's okay. He gets 20 drives a game in the playoffs, and he gets 10 free throws a game in the playoffs. Davion Mitchell averages 19 drives a game. He gets 2. So the drives thing is garbage.
Well, he had 2 free throws with like 2 minutes to go in this game. They were all garbage free throws.
Yeah, they were. And look what happened in this game when he wasn't getting his free throws. Indiana was dominating.
He had 35.
Yeah, no, he did. I mean, he was great in the clutch. He had like 15 points in the clutch, I think. I mean, he was a complete no-show until the final few minutes. But then in the final minutes, he got all his free throws. He got all his points, made a big 3. So he was good, man. He had 35 points. But
I think the Pacers broke the NBA record tonight for fouls drawn on offensive rebounds. There was like 11.
Dude, Scott Foster started dialing those up in the fourth quarter. And I was
and every time it's like, on the ground, foul on the ground. Yeah. There was like 11 of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Now here's the thing about the free throws that kills me. And then I'll move on. Gilgeous-Alexander obviously led all guards in free throw attempts this year, way more than Brunson, way more than everybody. If you took just one shooting foul away from Gilgeous-Alexander, just one, and that's it, just take one away, he's still first among all guards in free throw attempts per game, still first. But his true shooting percentage and his effective field goal percentage go from being elite for a guard to Anthony Edwards tier. Not taking away anything from Anthony Edwards.
Just that one stat. Just that one stat.
Just one shooting foul per game.
Yeah.
That's it. Just take that one shooting foul away, and he goes from being an MVP to an all-star. And there's nothing wrong with being an all-star. But how many times am I going to watch seasons where Embiid or SGA, their egregious free throw rates give them incredible efficiency boosts, and it puts them at the top of the league in metrics, and then when everybody starts watching them.
You can't say he goes from MVP to all-star from one stat. You aren't able to isolate free throw numbers, one per game, to reduce any of his other advanced metrics, in which he's second in all of them.
No, that's exactly what I'm doing. Because I like, if people still say he's an MVP, if you take away one shooting foul per game, I can't dispute that, because people have, all their different ways of determining who the MVP is. But the way I look at who is MVP is who's at the top of the advanced categories, and he's second or third or first in almost all of them. But those advanced categories, I know how all of them work. I know how they're calculated under the hood. Shooting efficiency is a big part of it. And so if you take away, if his true shooting percentage drops from being one of the best guards in the league to being around 60th in the league, all of his other advanced stats fall in harmony with it. Now he's, Anthony Edwards tier. So that's my rant. I'm off of it. But moving on.
He's better than Anthony Edwards.
I agree. He's definitely better than Anthony Edwards. Not trying to say he's not.
Dude, he was amazing. He hit that huge three to keep him in the game. Then he hit a couple pull-up J's. He's very crafty with the ball. He can get into the paint. His mid-range is obviously sick.
It is.
I wish he was more of a distributor. He had 0 assists, but that's his role in the team. He's the scorer.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. He's a great scorer. Here, how about this? Was he this season better or worse than Kobe's best season?
Better.
Was he this season better or worse than Steph Curry's best season?
Dude, better.
Okay. Just setting a baseline.
Am I right?
No. No. Yeah, on Kobe, you might have an argument. If you want to, like, if you said, hey, like, his box plus minus this year was like 10 or 11, which, was not first in the league, but Kobe was never first in the league either. And probably it's better than any Kobe season, but Curry's MVP seasons, pretty sure were higher.
Yeah, he had really good MVP seasons. Well, who has more MVPs, Shea or Kobe?
Tie. In terms of regular season, they both have one. And Kobe's, look, I mean, Shea didn't deserve to win MVP this year based on the statistical analysis. He was not the top statistical player this year, but Kobe wasn't either. So they both kind of have undeserving statistical MVPs there.
Who was the top guy that year Kobe won MVP?
CP3, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Pretty sure it was CP3. CP3 or LeBron. Certainly was one of those two. And look, I mean, we've got MVPs who win for not being the best statistical player. Derrick Rose has one of those that he stole from LeBron. There's plenty of those. So, okay. By the way, if the Thunder go on to win and Gil just gets Finals MVP, he joins a very, very elite group who has 2 total MVPs. There's only 24 players in NBA history, I think, who have 2 total MVPs, and he jumps in that. So now he's tied with Dirk. He's tied with Kawhi. He's tied with some very, very elite players.
Do you know how old he is?
26.
Yeah, that's young.
Yeah, soon to be 27. But I'll tell you this. If there's any justice in this league, after Luka Doncic scored 73 points, the league issued a memo to referees that changed the way that officiating was called last season. And that showed up empirically. The number of fouls called went down, the amount of scoring went down. There's this big narrative, it's too easy to score, blah, blah, blah. Luka was getting too high profile. They had to knock him down a peg, and they did. If there's any justice in this league, and they did that to Trae Young too, seasons before that, particularly in Trae Young's case for foul drawing. Well, Gilgeous-Alexander led the league in free throws this year, and there's been a lot of talk in the media and on social media about how his style is more so foul drawing than it is looking to score and play basketball. So I'm going to hope that the league is going to adjust just like it did to penalize Luka and just like it did to penalize Trae Young, because nobody, I don't think, wants to watch the foul drawing. And I'm not blaming SGA for doing the foul drawing. They're rewarding him for doing it. A free throw is the most efficient shot you can make. So not blaming him for it, but
he averaged more free throws per game 2 years ago.
He's led the league in free throws for 3 straight years.
This year he averaged 8.8 free throw attempts per game. Do you know who else averaged that exact number his last season with the Bulls?
Jordan?
Oh yeah, 8.8 free throws per game. Same exact number.
Yeah. So you think so what do you think about that?
I think that the media is like really trying to knock him down because of the free throws, and I just like, it's fine. He's not as good as Jokic or Luka, in my opinion. I'd rather have those two guys. But like,
what about
he's
Giannis?
a top. Yeah, I'd probably rather have Giannis. But like, my point is, he's a fantastic player, and we're just like knocking him down. And I think we should just like celebrate his season and him as a player.
It's a great point. So nothing is said in isolation. Like, if everybody, like, look, I'm about to become a pro Tatum guy because of the way that Bill and all these guys are throwing Tatum under the bus now because he's not going to be able to play for the team next year. Nothing's said in isolation. The thing, I'm not reacting to Shea in a vacuum. If I was analyzing him without any context, it would sound different. I'm analyzing him in the context of he was voted MVP this year, and he wasn't the best player this year, not by the metrics that myself and historically have predicted MVPs. So to me, he's a little bit overhyped. So I am knocking him down, but I'm doing it to reply to the things I've heard. So let me ask you this. I don't think LeBron...
1 to 4.
Right. Exactly. Is he a top 5 player? Yes. Is it a tough decision, him or Giannis? Yes. Him or Wemby? Yes. Those are definitely difficult decisions. Him or Luka is a difficult decision.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. Did LeBron ever average 8.8 free throws per game?
I'll check.
I don't think he did.
MJ peaked at 11.9 and Shea had 10.9 2 years ago. So like, they have similar free throw numbers per game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the point that I would make on that is Michael Jordan played during an era where everything was happening at the rim.
Yeah.
Gilgeous-Alexander does not. And Gilgeous-Alexander is not the athlete. He doesn't have the foot speed. He doesn't have the quickness. He doesn't have the ball handling abilities. He has none of the athletic abilities that Michael Jordan had, which drew the fouls. He's not even in the same category as him athletically.
LeBron averaged 10 free throws a game during his like peak 2007, 2009 range.
Yeah.
And then during the Heat days, he was at like 8 and then started trending down to 7s and 6s. Now he's under 5 a game.
So do you think, so we can say roughly Gilgeous and LeBron are equivalent in terms of their physical peaks, how many free throw attempts they draw per game?
Yeah.
Do you think that LeBron and Gilgeous are getting fouled the same amount?
No, I mean, obviously LeBron's like twice his size and he's getting to the rim like way more frequently. MJ is as well. I'm just making the point that like, we glorify MJ and these other guys and we don't knock them for anything. We don't like nitpick and look for these little things to knock them down. And I feel like we're nitpicking Shea just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's fair. Kristina, you've risen. Oh, you're muted. You're muted. You're muted.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, but the fouls that occurred in the 90s are a very different caliber of foul compared to Shea throwing his body backwards as he goes up and doesn't even get touched and then gets a foul and winds up at the free throw line because he missed his shot.
I think
So,
I think Shea will age like Harden did, where people like didn't really like watching Harden while he was doing it. But yeah, exactly. Just like what Joe said, people didn't really like watching while he was doing it. But after the fact, they said, you know what? He won an MVP. He had a season where he averaged 38 points a game. He was efficient. He could shoot. He could pass. He could rebound. He could hold his own on the defensive block. Could guard guys bigger than him. I think it ages like that. Like I think Harden has aged okay. What do you think, Josh?
So, do you think Luka gets to the basket as frequently as Shea Gilgeous?
Not this year.
He averaged more free throws per game than Shea Gilgeous.
Yeah.
Okay, but again,
so like
not this year.
There's actual contact.
This year. Yeah.
What did each guy average free throw wise?
So once Luka got to the Lakers, he averaged 8.9 free throws per game, and Shea averaged 8.8.
But what was Luka's on the full season?
It doesn't show that on NBA reference. It breaks it down by team.
It's definitely lower than Shea's.
I mean, not much.
But it is lower. And, look, now you got to get into the thing of like, I watch these guys play and, Luka's a much bigger player. He definitely takes more contact. I mean, look, just watch the finals. Just watch the 4 games of the finals. Through the 2 games, through the first 2 games of the NBA finals, Shea Gilgeous averaged more free throw attempts per game than any guard in NBA finals history. It was egregious. And then they calmed it down.
He had 2 going into the fourth quarter. He had 2 free throws on ones that weren't even fouls on him because he gets 2 free. They choose who choose the free throws.
I know. Game 4, different story. I think the whistle on Shea tonight, I think he probably didn't get enough calls tonight. There are a few times when I think he drove into traffic and they normally give him the fouls, and they didn't give them to him tonight. But I think they did that because they adjusted to the fact that he was getting 12 free throws per game.
But I thought Scott Foster was coming in to give him 100 free throws.
Well, he did give the Thunder 7 more, I think, on the game.
No, it was all garbage time. It was even the whole game.
And I would wager any amount with anybody that was the first time in NBA history that during the clutch moments of a finals game, clutch being defined as 5 points or fewer with 5 minutes or fewer left, that 2 away from the play fouls were called.
He ran the guy over on the second one.
He did, but that happens on every play. And that's the second one. The first one was complete garbage. But look, you don't call that. I mean, I watched so many playoff games this year. They never call that.
And the Pacers broke the NBA record tonight for fouls on offensive rebounds. I'm telling you, there was like 11.
I believe that. I do. When that happened in the fourth quarter, when Foster was just calling those, I was like, dude, the tide turned here. Like, why is he suddenly realized Oklahoma City and Alex Caruso foul on every rebound? He suddenly realized that? No. Why is he suddenly calling these?
I wish that guy never reffed another NBA game. I don't know why he's still in the NBA. He's insane. There's so many. He's doing like all the crazy stuff. I wish we didn't have him. But I thought tonight was pretty even.
I thought tonight was still bad. But it wasn't benefiting Gilgeous. It was to the benefit of Jalen Williams, who I think shot 11 free throws. Jalen Williams should not be shooting 11 free throws. Jalen Williams is in the top 10 or 8 of guards in the NBA Finals free throw rate. But I'll give you this final stat on Foster to emphasize your point. In the NBA playoffs this year, when Foster is officiating, the Thunder are now 4-0, and they win by an average of 25 points per game. When he is not officiating, they are 10-6, and they win by an average of 5 points a game. The odds of that happening due to random chance is 1 in trillions. So maybe it's just a coincidence that they're flawless under Foster and they're okay to pretty good without. Or maybe it's just the way Foster officiates. That I think one thing I learned watching the Nuggets Thunder series is that Foster allows smalls to beat up on bigs, just like they used to do to Shaq. He has an old school style where he says, Caruso, you can just smash anybody you want if they're bigger than you. And I'm really not going to rule that disadvantages the offensive player. And then the other side, any hand checking or ticky-tack stuff on the perimeter, he calls that. And I'm not saying he calls it one way or the other. I think the evidence suggests he calls it fairly, but his officiating style specifically benefits teams that play in his particular way. And those are the stats.
Yeah. I'm just not seeing it, dude. Like Luka averaged 10.5 free throws a game 3 years ago. That's 2 more than Shea averaged this year.
Well, to that point, the
And he
league
averaged 8.7, 9.2 his second year. Like his numbers are the same as Shea's for free throws.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go with that point. After his 73-point game, where I think he shot like 20-ish free throws in that game, after that game, the league have issued a memo that adjusted the amount of contact that is allowed in perimeter players, and then it empirically showed up in the officiating for the rest of that season. The number of fouls went down, the scoring went down, the free throws went down. So if the amount of free throws that Luka drew, which is apparently the same as SGA, if that warranted the league literally changing its entire officiating style, then they damn sure better change it after SGA is doing the same thing that Luka did. That's what I'll say on that.
When did Luka have this rule change? When was that?
It was around February of the 2023-24 season.
So that year he averaged 8.7 free throw attempts per game. This year he averaged 7.9. So it went down 0.8. SGA during that season averaged 8.7. This year 8.8. His went up.
Or about the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all free throws are not equal either. I mean, but you like, hey, look, if when you watch the games, you say, look, Shea's getting the same whistle that every other player is getting, then that's what you see. I don't see it that way.
No, I didn't say the same. I'm just saying like it's not like it's egregious it's not as egregious.
Yeah.
He definitely gets more. He gets the lame ones, like the Embiid where they just kind of drive in and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get the foul. I see plenty of those.
Yeah.
And those are annoying. But so many NBA players do that. They go in and they just like lean in a little bit. They go the other way and they try to draw the foul and they throw up their arms. Lots of guys do it. It's part of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. They do. And I can't blame him for doing it. Like, it works, dude. It's like, his true shooting percentage is 61 rather than 59 because of one extra shooting foul game. And I do think most people would agree he probably does get one extra shooting foul per game relative to the other guards.
But why would the league do that? So are they just like that tricked by him? Like, what's the incentive for the league to want to give him more free throws? He's like a Canadian-born player in Oklahoma City. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, see, I don't get to this point. I don't speculate as to what the motive is, and I don't know if there is a motive. There might not be.
It's just his style.
Just might be style.
Yeah.
It just he might just be, magnificent at creating the appearance better than other players that there's contact.
Did you see the Game 3 foul where he's driving to the free throw line, and I think it was Thomas Bryant on him. It was Thomas Bryant. And then all of a sudden Thomas Bryant is like throwing him to the ground and you're like, how did this happen? Like so what he does is Bryant puts his arm in to guard and then he like hooks you, right?
Right.
CP3 used to do this. He'll hook you.
Yep.
And then like you're just basically fouling him at that point. Like he forces the action. So there's a little bit of gamesmanship and like he's got the tricks or whatever to get the extra fouls.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, I think you've given a really good defense to Shea. And I think you've made some good points. And like I think this has been a balanced discussion that like has made the points on both sides of how people see it. And I think one of the things that's hurting Shea right now in these particular finals is that it's being contrasted against Halliburton. Halliburton is the star perimeter player on the other team.
No fouls.
Halliburton shot 0 free throws in game 1. Halliburton shot 0 free throws in game 2. Halliburton shot 0 free throws in game 3. And then tonight, 3 free throws?
Yep.
Halliburton is averaging less than 1 free throw per game, and Gilgeous is averaging like 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's also part of the contrast here is that there's one guy who's won just as many games in the series as Gilgeous has and has a better plus minus in the series than Gilgeous has. And he's doing it without any of the free throws.
He averaged 3 on the season.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't get calls, man. I've seen him all throughout these playoffs, especially in the Knicks series. Like he would go into contact at the rim and he just doesn't get calls.
Yeah. I'll say also the Shea fouls annoy me. They annoy me less than peak Embiid and way less than Brunson. But he's top 3.
Yeah, I see him and Brunson is pretty similar.
I used to fucking hate the Harden ones. He would just like hook you going is so bad. And then the Trae Young stop, get in front of you and stop thing. So maybe they'll like Maybe to your point, they'll use this season to look at the tape and be like, let's outlaw the hook arm one. That one's bullcrap. That might bring him down to 7 next year or whatever. And maybe they can find something else.
Yeah, I think they will. And I don't care what the absolute number is. Like, if he gets fouled and he shoots 10 a game, so be it. The issue is that there's some calls happening here that it just seems like other players don't get.
Yeah, visually.
Yeah, exactly. And then the thing that also makes it hard on OKC in particular is that on the other end, Caruso fouls with impunity.
I love Caruso.
So yeah, I would love Caruso to be on my team,
Yeah.
And then Lou Dort, Lou Dort broke Ja Morant's hip in these playoffs when he was down 30 to Memphis and he was upset and he threw Ja Morant to the ground. There's clips of him in this round throwing Halliburton to the ground. He did it again in the game today. I mean,
right in front of the ref.
Right in front of the ref, and no call, obviously. So, I mean, Dort, Caruso, Hartenstein sets a moving screen every time. He's Draymond Green 2.0 with the moving screens, never gets called. There was one moving screen called tonight. Of course, it was against Indiana. That's like your offensive holding call. That's your litmus test.
They called one on Holmgren. There was one each.
Oh, okay. I'm all right. Sorry. Then it's 1-1. But that's a good litmus test there is who's getting the moving screen calls and when, because you can call on every play if you want to.
Yeah. They seem to call those when the guy, it's like when there's like momentum building and the team player will just like fly to half court and then they call it. It's so annoying. Just call it on the call. Stop
Yeah.
going to the momentum.
Yeah. Dort usually draws at least one of those a game where he just decides to fall over and he's getting the call.
Dude, Dort can't be moved physically by anyone. Like Halliburton tried to push him over and he just threw him to the ground. But then later someone will set a pick on Dort and he goes flying across the court. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I just I don't know why the NBA, I get all that. I'm seeing it too. And I'm not a OKC guy. I like the Pacers. I have no dog in this fight. I'm just watching these games.
Yeah.
I just don't know why the refs would do that. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's not all of them. I think some refs give OKC a better whistle than others, not because they're biased. I'm not trying to say that they're biased. I'm not talking to motive. I'm just saying Oklahoma City, here, let me frame it this way. Oklahoma City, through their coaching, through their playing style, through the intelligence of their players, has figured out a way to play defense very like the Seattle Seahawks Legion of Boom in the NFL 10, 15 years ago. They figured out a way to play defense where they know how much contact is going to be allowed to which players, and they execute it and they implement it. And they implement it very effectively. They are playing within the rules that are provided to them. They're not doing anything wrong by doing that. They are very good at playing defense within this system. Extremely good. They'd be a good defensive team no matter what. I don't know if they'd be this good. I think if Caruso got the same whistle that the average perimeter defender gets, that probably takes away a few turnovers per game and so forth. But they, as a team, and from the coach on down, do a very nice job of playing the very best possible way you can play within the system. Very similar to those Legion of Boom Seahawks who said, we're going to foul you on every play and we're going to put the onus on the officials to call it. And they're not going to call it, especially because of our defensive reputation. And that those Seahawks teams won a Super Bowl. So what can you do? All right. Anyway, it's been a great NBA Finals. I'm hanging on the edge of my seat. Yeah,
let's go.
It's so good. And the Pacers have a chance to do something extremely historic here. They beat a 64-win 1 seed in 5, and now they definitely have a very real shot of beating the other 1 seed, a 68-win 1 seed. I don't know if it's ever happened before. I'll have to put GPT on some deep research here, but
no way.
I don't think a team has ever beaten both 1 seeds.
As a guy just watching these games, I feel like it's a dead even series.
It's so close. It's a
talent-wise series. Bench, the teams to me feel kind of similarly constructed in that they don't have the mega, traditional superstar guy at the top, and they're just very deep. Lots of good players. Everyone that comes in has high energy. They play fast. They're well coached. They don't make that many mistakes. Yeah,
it's been a very enjoyable NBA Finals.
And you know how some games they get like into slugfest towards the end, and like one guy dribbles up, and they just kind of go. I'm not sensing any of that either. There's a little bit of that with Shea and J-Dub every once in a while, but both teams are like pretty up and down. They play their way, and they don't really like change in the clutch.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. And like they've had a wide range of games too, and all the players are newish and young, and like, you know, they kind of, it's just really fun watching these teams go at it. And Tyrese Halliburton, man, you know, the media really doesn't want to give this guy any accolades, and Stephen A. Smith has taken personal umbrage at Halliburton replying to him. But Tyrese Halliburton has never lost a playoff series.
Yep. And he's 2 wins away from winning a championship, and we're still not ready to say that the Pacers are good. I don't understand. Just look at the game.
Yeah. So this, especially for like not having a rooting interest in these finals.
Right.
It's been a great product. Been a very good product. Okay. Let's get to some card questions here. This is a card show. From Wookie Hunter. Is the hobby still ours, or have the whales and the hedge funds taken over?
This guy just showed 4 one-on-one mail days. I don't see any hedge fund bros. The hedge fund bros are the Fanatics Premier Special bros. That's what they are. We're the one-on-ones collectors. Get out of here.
Yeah. What do you think is the inspiration behind this question?
Frustration of losing auctions to people paying to sell in the future.
And probably like seeing the Paul Skeens debut patch autograph card go for $1 million.
Yep, stuff like that. It's frustrating, dude.
It is. It's extremely frustrating.
I empathize.
I do too. Next up from Iowa Dave Sports Cards. If you have the opportunity to get a Grail card ahead of the National, even if it means you'll go to the National with almost no funds, I'm of the opinion that you seize the card when you have the opportunity. If this does happen, however, and now you might be at the National for 2 or 3 days without resources to pick up cards, what are some good ways to fill your time there to still have a great experience?
Dude, at this rate, you're not going to have money for next year's National.
I'm out, man. I'm bringing, I'm not bringing cash to the National. I'm bringing cards that I have to unload to rebalance.
Well, so do you go to, if you had to rank the following 2 items for your top goal at the National, 1 being hanging out with card friends in person, 2 being picking up more than 0 cards?
It depends. For the National in particular, it's more fun to just have the experience. We mob around the show floor. We talk to all our buddies and dealer friends, give people shit, look at PCs, see cool cards, even if we're not buying them. That's number 1. But picking up a card is a not so distant number 2. What do you say?
Yeah, I say you should go to the National. Let's only talk about the National.
Yeah,
you should go to the National with the expectation that you won't buy any cards. Would you still go? And what would you do? And how do you make it enjoyable for yourself? And I think it's everything you just said. So if you can assume you're not going to get anything and still have a good time, that's what you're aiming for.
Yeah. Yep. So, and this question did speak like directly to my experience where like, dude, my Grails came up a month before the National. So
yeah,
like, there's one card I was really hoping for, the 2015 Prism Black Jokic. I'm sorry, not Prism Black, the 2015 Select Black die cut Jokic to show up at the National. And now I'm hoping it doesn't.
If it does, I'll be buying it for my PC.
There you go.
I responded to Iowa Dave, but I'll respond here too. If someone has the opportunity, so that everyone can hear it, if you have the opportunity to buy your Grail, buy your freaking Grail. Still come to the National, but come to the card letter booth. I'll give you a t-shirt and put you to work, and then you won't be lonely.
Yes.
Nice.
She's kind of serious.
She's kind super serious.
I am serious.
Dude, I'll put some people to work too. Like, you know how that card ladder app works? Oh, great. Here's
Dude, this is one thing people don't understand about working a booth at a show. You are a captive audience the entire show. If somebody wants to walk up to you and talk to you for an hour, you have no recourse. You have to sit there.
But I was just trying to sell, like, oh, come hang out with us. It's really fun. And then you come in and you're like,
but I didn't finish you didn't let me finish my point.
Okay, yes, please.
And it's amazing when you get to listen to these people talk at you for an hour. So you should
Sometimes they come and they have really cool cards and they're just like, I want to show you what I picked up. And those people, I'm like, yes, like I will give you all of my time. Let's look at some amazing card that you just bought like 2 miles away at a dealer's booth. Also, I guess this is a good time. I guess this is a good time to tell people, I don't know if we did, but to come visit us. We're booth number 2323 at the National. If you've hit the fire exits, you've gone 2 feet too far.
Well said.
We're right there. We're right at the end of.
Can I just signal boost one thing that you said, which is if you pick up a card at the National and you need somebody to go show it to,
yeah,
dude, we would love to see it. You can bring it over to our booth. I love to see mail days at people.
Yeah.
Or not mail days, but I don't know, show days or something.
We will ooh and ah over it. We will tell you got a great deal, even if you overpaid, and we will tell others they have to see this card. So like we're the good captive audience, as Chris says.
Can I give the one disclaimer?
Yes.
I have personally, I'm not speaking for the two of you. You guys are much kinder than I am. I have an expiration date on how long I'll chit chat.
You do. This is 100% true.
And I will literally just like ignore you and turn around and walk the other way.
I've seen this happen.
And it's no offense to anybody. I love all of you. I will do it though.
He does it to me, so you're in good company.
It's like my brain is like, you're done. You got to go do something else.
On that note, here's one more national question from Dreamcast Cards. First time national attendee here. Logistically speaking, how many PC cards should I bring?
This is a great question. I change my mind on this every year, don't I? You're like, dude, there's been years when I bring everything, and then lately I've brought nothing. I think I'm leaning towards bringing nothing.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
It sucks because I'm just worried. I just see too much stuff, People. Well, I'll probably grade some cards, so maybe just limit it to that.
But don't you just want to have at least some of your PC with you when somebody else has their PC box and like?
Yeah, of course.
It's tough.
Yeah, maybe a couple.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm bringing cards to grade too, but that's it. I will not be bringing anything else.
Yeah, there's a lot of risk, insurance. You got to check with your insurance companies, etc. We can't speak for them on that.
Exactly. Okay. Up next, House of Cards says, does rarity outweigh aesthetics in your decision to acquire a card? Maybe, or do you have like a percentage on this? Like,
yeah, I think this is where you and I usually are a little bit different. I usually lean more aesthetics. You lean more rarity, but I haven't bought anything higher serial number than a 1 in the last year or so.
That's the cop-out answer, is that it has to have both.
Yeah, exactly.
But as time passes, I lean more and more into rarity, but I definitely have some cards in my collection that are there at least 51% because it's rare, rather than because I just love what it looks like. So
you don't have any 101s that are cut in half?
None cut in half yet. I guess the ultimate test case of that is that Hannes Wagner that's torn in half. That PSA 0.5.
That one looks like a dog toy.
Yeah. From Leather Helmet Cards, how do you balance being inspired by other collectors without falling into groupthink or chasing what is popular for acceptance? And how do you stay aware of your own biases or the hobby's biases when shaping your collecting identity?
That's tough because everybody is influenced and biased to some degree. It's impossible to live in a room with no windows and doors and paint all the walls black and just you're going to see stuff. You're going to be influenced by, it may not even be other people. It may be stats or it may be YouTube highlights. There's always something. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. Maybe it just like, if you're getting away from like having fun buying stuff just because you're trying to impress other people, that's probably when you've gone too far.
Perfectly said. We are social beings and we share things with each other. And there's some level, like that is the zag to this question that might be unexpected, but I think you just went right to it instinctually, which is that on some level, we are seeking acceptance. On some level, we are participating in groupthink. Don't get carried away with it, like you said, where you're just simply doing things purely for the estimated or anticipated approval of others.
Right.
Because that can be deeply unsatisfying once that leads to an inauthentic experience. But it is perfectly compatible to authentically express yourself as a creator with a mind towards how do other people think about this? What does it say about me that I have this? How will other people perceive my collection? Am I building a cool collection or am I building a wonky, silly collection? Like on some level, I think it's healthy and good and human to acknowledge what the group thinks. What do you say?
Yeah, we were chatting earlier, maybe it was yesterday, about like the future of AI and how like things are going to change in the economy. I just had this realization that like, dude, we like oriented our entire lives around collecting shiny pieces of cardboard and like making small communities of friends based around that. It's just like such a simple thing that AI would look at that and be like, are you guys like insane?
Yeah.
So I just, don't overthink it too much. It's a pretty like simple, fun thing that we're doing and spending our time on. I wouldn't stress over it that much.
Excellent. I did have one practical reply to this question, which is like, okay, so how do you make sure basically that you're not, if I interpret this question as how do you make sure that you're not getting carried away into a hype fest? How do you make sure you're not getting blown over by FOMO and things like that? I think the answer to that is by developing your collecting algorithm or your collecting formula, which is, hey, if my style and I know what works for me is I really like the most beautiful inserts from the 90s. And then all of a sudden, you find yourself chasing a completely different type of card that's just not what you've ever authentically liked to collect because you see other people doing it and you see graphs with arrows pointing up. And, maybe that's where you have to check your algorithm and say, well, my collecting algorithm is I like really beautiful inserts from the 90s. Or my collecting algorithm is I like high eye appeal, low grade vintage. Or my collecting algorithm is, I like gold parallels to particular brands from the Panini era or something. And like, it's okay to change your collecting algorithm. Obviously I've changed mine a number of times, but my collecting algorithm sort of keeps me in, it gives me a way to sort of say, am I straying far afield from the things that I know work for me? And if I am, why? Is it because I'm experimenting and I've discovered something compelling and interesting and I'm taking a risk? Or is it just because I'm FOMOing? And do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, man, Cards has a nice comment. Not nice, but relevant. He said it's frustrating to lose an auction just to see the card later pulled out of a repack. And that kind of goes back to the earlier question we had.
Yeah.
So I think there's a bit of like underlying frustration from collectors of like, why am I so stressed out about getting cards that I feel I personally enjoy more than someone else, or it's like a collection to me and it's a flipper's game for someone else. It's hard to like have that backdrop,
Totally. He has a question coming up here that gets to that. You know what? Why don't I just jump to it? Let's go. What do you guys think is this is from Yeah Man Cards. What do you guys think is the best way to go about a card that was sniped and you missed out on it? A little more context on that is the card is out of 75 and has only showed up for public sale twice since the initial product release 20 years ago. Wow. How would you guys go about pursuing such a card? Would you do a story post? Would you spam Facebook groups? What do you say?
I mean, you just had some luck, right? Story post in it?
Yeah. Yeah, but the story post was like an indirect route where like I I posted a card and then I didn't say like I want more of these or something. I just posted it and then it ended up leading to more coming. There's something to be said about the less direct route.
Right.
Leaving people the space to sort of connect the dots on their own.
There's also something to be said about telling people for 5 years that you're after one particular card and really like jamming it down people's throats. Like
That's a great point. So you are
Yeah.
the master of this.
yeah,
ceremony.
it hasn't really benefited me the way that I'm doing it. So
Yeah.
don't be like me is what I would.
But you have to follow through with that experiment. You have to keep doing it that way.
Oh, I mean I am, and like it's definitely like I had someone like say that a Tyrese, I think it was Tyrese Halliburton green neon green out of 5 prism just sold recently, and they were like, Kristina, like this pump was because of you. No one would care about this parallel if you haven't been harping on it for the last 5 years. So, I mean, I'm in people's mind at least, like even when a
I don't think
different
there's-
player pops up.
If anybody in our Instagram or collecting communities ever saw that maxi, they would definitely think of you.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that they think of me when it's not even that same year or player. They're
Right,
just
right.
like, oh, neon green, Kristina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been getting more and more people sending me stories of like Black Finite 1-of-1 receivers. So like, and I post about some of them, but to your point, like it's just sort of people are connecting the dots.
Dude, the people sending stuff like out of these mail days that I had, 2 of the 4 were the result of somebody sending it to me.
Do you you know how someone will send you a link to eBay or something that you like obviously have seen it? I always respond like positively to that person, because if it's 99 out of 100, that one time you just you got to keep hammering the positivity on, thanks for sending me this. You don't need to tell them that you've seen it already. You don't need to tell them that you haven't. Don't lie to them. Just be like, thank you for sending me this, because they were obviously just like doing it to help. So
Bingo.
I mean, plus, isn't that like gratifying? Like someone was just doing their normal day, like they were just checking eBay for themselves, and then you popped into their head when they saw a particular card. Like I think that is like the amazing aspect of the hobby is that like people are always trying to look out for each other.
Well, let me carry that thought like a step further too.
Go ahead.
I've been on the other side of this where I see a card, I think of somebody else, and I send it to them. I do that as well. And that can be very gratifying if I end up seeing a card that somebody else would not have seen, or maybe I'm the first one to send it to them, and then they end up getting it. I get nothing out of that. I don't want to get anything material out of that, but I do get a satisfaction from having played some small part in somebody's life getting a little bit better. Hopefully on both sides, the person selling it gets what they want, the person buying it gets what they want. I'm happy to be a part of that. And that's the other side of this coin, is that it can be very rewarding to stumble into something and pass it along to somebody else.
I always keep like an internal scorecard of this. Like if I get 3 people in a row sending me something, I'm like, gosh, I have to like go help 3 people right now. The universe is out of whack.
Yeah, I wish I'm not that good of a Samaritan. I do owe some people. I definitely owe some people on that front. Yes. What are you owed?
I'm owed a lot.
What have you found and passed along?
What haven't I found?
Oh, okay, here we go.
I don't know.
You just wanted to be owed?
I got something. Maybe like all of your dinner orders for the last.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe all of the car
There's no
rentals,
balancing that equation.
Like Josh owes me for hotel like bookings and like planning like his travel.
She's got an internal scorecard that goes the other way.
I don't.
You need to know where your bread is buttered, Chris.
Yeah, but sometimes you got to give the bread butterer a hard time. let's move on here.
On that note,
Next up, we have. Sorry. Okay, right here from Jeff Rose Jordans. How do you decide if it's time to move off of a card? Do you literally sit with it? Do you study it online like you did before you bought it, or all the above?
Oh, this person is already to the point where they're going to sell it. It's too late.
Yeah, correct.
Right? Is that what you're thinking?
Big time.
Yeah. Once that card gets brought out and set onto my table as a possible sell, it's too late.
Tough. It's really tough to see it the same way. Do you ever consider that and say, I won't even entertain the idea sort of like going down this row of cards because I know that even if I start thinking about it?
Yeah. Yeah. But I have a couple cards that I sold during my first run of football players that I'm like, I got to get that one back now that I'm like a couple of I had fallen into a couple one-on-ones back then.
Yeah.
That I wish I had now. So that's why it probably is smart to at least sit with it for a day.
Yep. The seller regret that I've got is on some of the McCaffreys. It's funny
Yeah, the
that's like
one-on-ones.
football cards. Yeah. Yep.
And it's mostly because it's like I sold this random card for $1,000, right? Like, oh, big whoop. There's no chance I could ever backtrack what that $1,000 did for me. It's probably like a couple of Chipotle burritos, who cares?
Dude, I think my biggest sale regret that pops into mind for McCaffrey was selling his select XRC black 1/1. Like, because like after I sold that, like a year after I sold that, I started really getting into this idea of like putting together all of the players select true blacks from a season, and I was like, now I'm not going to be able to probably never pair McCaffrey's 3 select black 1/1 2017s with the 2016 XRC. I'm probably never going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I still need the field level too anyway. So
there was one that you sold and it went through like the flippers hurricane, not even the vortex, like the fucking like I saw it come across my purview like 6 times. I'm like, isn't that you're like, yeah.
Are you
yeah,
thinking about the Immaculate Premium Patch Shield autograph?
That I'm not, but
Okay.
that one is also good. There wasn't. I thought it was the XRC one, or maybe it was a different. Maybe it was like the optic vinyl rookie or something.
It was definitely the optic gold vinyl, but that's in a really good home now.
Okay, good.
That's in
but
a
there
really,
was like
really good home now.
There was like a select gold one or something that I just kept seeing over and over.
Yeah, because I was gonna say that premium patch that's like got like a little bit of the Streisand effect because that was not mine, but God, it just kept showing up and making me think about it.
You're like, yeah, that used to be mine.
Okay, from Drake's PC, attempting to remove all biases. Which impresses you more? The collector who has great cards of a popular player, or the collector who has great cards of a less popular player?
Impresses me more like in terms of you thinking difficulty to acquire them.
Maybe, I don't know.
Dude, it would be so hard to get all those Matherin cards.
Okay, so that's a great example. So like, how do you track those down? Like, there's no way that all showed up on eBay, right?
Yeah, I guess I'm still probably more impressed by the popular player because it's just more barriers you have to get over.
Yeah. I think you set up the case for both situations. I can see an argument on both sides. Yeah, like
I'm impressed by all.
I've never seen a bigger struggle to get a card than Kristina trying to get that maxi out of 5. So if we can ever close that chapter. All right, from Out of Wax, a post made the rounds of a Luis Robert collection featuring over 2,000 cards, all playing days, all fully licensed. When looking for cards for my PC, I sometimes wish I had more options to choose from, but you soon realize that less is more. Thoughts?
Less is more. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely see what he's saying here. That when like you see a guy's put together a pile of like 2,000, like a super collector has like all these thousands of cards, and you're like, yeah, you know what? I can't always just go on eBay and buy an awesome card of my favorite player, but maybe that's not such a bad thing. Maybe the rarity and the difficulty of the chase actually ends up being better in the end.
Yeah. Plus, it's a marathon, dude. It's not a sprint.
Definitely. From Tasty Card Sandwich, what is a set or a card type that is popular within your collecting lane that just doesn't do it for you? This is not a question of thinking something is overrated. It's more, I totally get why this is popular and other people like it, but it just doesn't do it for me. For instance, for me, Tasty Card Sandwich, it is exquisite. I totally get why it's popular and loved, but it just doesn't do it for me.
I love this question. This is a great question.
Yeah, this question is right up your alley. You probably
Yeah.
have several answers to this.
Yeah. I probably do, but I didn't read this ahead of time, so I'm kind of frustrated. But okay. It's basically like every flawless card ever made.
Okay, let's go.
I think
Okay.
that they're like I think that they're super plain and white, and they just don't have that much going on. It's just like a cursive word flawless and like a white background.
Okay.
And they're like a clear stepchild of National Treasures. I think Immaculate has better designs. This sounds bad now. I'm going too far.
No, dude, I love this. Here's why I love this. This is a second.
It's used and flawless is used by people to pump like the game use. If that's what you're gonna say, sorry.
No, that's where I'm going with it. Is that this is a second order zag, which is a very rare zag. Usually the zag is just like me zagging against SGA. Like I'm just zagging against the popular conception that he, is a great player, which he obviously is. But I zag against it. But then that's just a first order zag. Here's what you're doing. So Flawless itself is a zag against National Treasures, right? So that's the first zag. So like people are zagging against NT by being like, yeah, NT it sells for all this, but guess what? We got Flawless over here and some of it's game used. Okay. So that's the first zag. The second zag is the zag against Flawless back into some other stuff. Like the second zag it's a rare species. And I am here for the second order zag.
I love this question because there's so many answers that people expect you and me to say, like, oh, you guys don't like vintage or whatever, like we could just rattle off stuff we don't like, or we don't like baseball cards or whatever, and just expect that from us. But nobody expected me to be like, I hate Flawless. So that's good. You gotta really think. You gotta thread that needle.
You're good at answering questions like this, and I just come up with this stupid like pop answer, which like mine was going to be like kabooms and downtowns,
yeah, exactly. You actually like came up with a better example of what AI would say we would say,
right? Exactly. Yeah, that's good. Your answer passed the Turing test.
That's exactly what I was hoping for.
Mine does not. What about other because this is also just kind of like like they're rolling out the red carpet to start hating on some other stuff too.
Yeah, whoever asked this question knew Tasty Card. He knows us that we're excited about these.
Yeah. Like a different second order zag would be like me zagging into Prism Deca.
Into what?
Prism Deca.
Yeah, god damn it. You said something to me today. You were like, I was like, oh, what do you think of this one? And you're like, that's pretty much Prism Deca. And I was like, well, that's about the most offensive thing you could possibly say to me. So thanks.
You were like asking me to help you hate a card.
Yeah, true.
And I was like, well, it's kind of like Prism Deca. We have a question on Prism Deca.
You're like, well, if you're a big Kaboom guy, I could see why you might like that, but
Jake Sports World says, invest or pass the Prism Black Shimmer 1 of 1 of your PC players like LeBron. Do you invest or pass in the Prism Deca Black Shimmer 1 of 1 of LeBron?
Oh, Prism Deca? Mm-hmm. Pass.
Yeah, I don't think that's a hard one.
I'm just having a hard time with the Deca. Just having a really tough time with it.
Yeah, but it's also a question of price. But even then, it's really not, just because like when I'm flipping through cards in my PC box,
dude, you know what?
Probably never gonna. Yeah.
Deca has like pushed me into the arms of like regular Black Shimmer.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't have considered regular Black Shimmer until Deca came around. I'm like, fine. You know what? It's not so bad.
Henry Kissinger's middle path. His
Exactly.
negotiating strategy was like set up two extremes, and then it's all designed to get the person to land in the middle.
It's genius.
So Prism Deca has triangulated the Black Shimmer from Prism from being the low head on the totem pole to now it's the middle head.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just sorting through highest cards price of all time and looking for something to hate.
Oh, I love that. You probably found quite a bit.
I got a lot of options. If you, depending on how you feel about the Tom Brady Contenders Champ ticket, it shows up like 400 times.
I've got a zag for this.
That card sucks.
Here's my zag of a card that's very popular in one of my collecting lanes that just doesn't do anything for me.
Yes, let's go. This is my favorite topic. I could linger on this for days.
1997-98 Upper Deck game jersey Michael Jordan.
Oh yeah, here we go. Especially the autograph one.
Whether it's the autograph or the non-autographed, the card just doesn't do anything for me. I don't like the way it looks. The card has so much going for it on paper. Like it's the first Jordan. Here, let me throw that up on the screen. It's the first. I'm pretty sure it's the first Jordan game used memorabilia card, and it's the first Jordan game jersey autograph card. And yeah, exactly. Like Zach Swisher says it, but it's the first. Exactly.
So when I was a kid, I remember a friend of mine pulling a random one of these, not Michael Jordan. I forget the player he pulled, but I remember him and I being like, dude, this is like the hardest card to pull ever. Like,
yeah,
it was like green. We didn't even know about green PMGs, that those were difficult because we didn't even know they existed. But I do remember this set when I was a kid that was like the pack odds in Beckett and stuff being like 1 in, whatever. And so I do have a little bit of nostalgia for this card for that reason, but I totally get why you think that.
Yeah. I mean, it's got everything. Like even the surface, when the card's in hand, it has this like jersey texture to it, but doesn't do it for me. All right. Want to anything else popping up here that we should?
I'll just like literally just scream and interrupt you when I hit something.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I see a lot to zag against here, honestly, but
dude, this card is here like 50 times. It's insane.
The Brady champ ticket.
Yeah, like it's so insane.
Yep. Joe says it's the hand numbering. Yeah, that doesn't help. Definitely doesn't help.
And the fact that the auto like clearly wasn't supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
That always bothers me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. That card might be like one of the reasons why I was so slow to like mem auto cards. That card alone right there might have been blocking me.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to move us on to another question, but please do jump in if you find another card to hate on.
Don't worry about that.
Okay. From Drake's PC, other than collection continuity, what else prompts you to get older PSA slabs reholdered? I love the new material and the Lighthouse labels, but there's also something cool about a 25-year-old card being in a 20 to 25-year-old slab.
Yeah, I still have the 03 Finest Gold LeBron in a really old slab, and I have no plan to get it reholdered.
So I think one of the reasons why people get stuff reholdered is if they're getting ready to sell it.
Yeah,
which
totally.
may or may not be a perfectly sound strategy, because like Drake's pointed out, there is something novel, especially as more time passes, about having a card in an old label. Do you remember that guy on the crossover like 3 or 4 years ago who would just badger us nonstop about the new PSA label? Yeah,
I'll never forget that guy. He was of the ilk of the 2021. I'm just here for the boom, and you won't hear from me 2 years from now.
Right. Exactly.
I got one.
Okay, let's go. I see what it is actually.
It's the entire credential set.
Okay. Oh man. All right. Here comes the zag.
I think the numbering is weird.
Yep.
The cards are literally pink.
Yep. They are.
And lime green.
Yep.
The They're like plastic. They're kind of strange.
I've never owned
The-
one. Have you owned the penny?
Oh yeah, I've had it a couple times. It never really did anything for me. It was like I had one because you're supposed to, but it's like this card's at a 70. What am I excited about? And then
Yeah.
the now's at a 4. It's a confusing set. You're never gonna get them because Spinatron has them all. Just don't even buy $700,000 for Allen Iverson. Just wrap your mind around that.
Yeah. Yep. That is. My mind isn't wrapping.
Nope.
It's just not wrapping around that at all.
All Pokemon cards? Is that too much?
No, that's right on time actually.
Because do we have any questions about that? There's like I just keep seeing stuff about Pokemon.
No, we don't have any Pokemon questions.
I mean,
Shout
look
out
at
to
this
our
thing,
audience.
dude. What color is that?
That is pumpkin seed orange.
That looks like urine when you haven't had enough water.
Yes, that sat in a jug that you availed yourself of next to your bed and then didn't empty it out for 3 days.
This is the reminder you need to drink water. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. Yep. Can't wait to flush the toilet when I see one of those.
That's the title.
All right, let me get back to another question here.
I thought you were gonna say MJ Exquisite.
Nah. I've already zagged enough against that.
That's like Kaboom level.
I don't know, man. I get dude. There's people whose entire collecting nostalgia orients around Exquisite.
Dude, someone did a poll this week about that, and MJ Exquisite was the top choice over like 90s stuff.
Okay.
And it clearly could have been the type of person that made the poll and their followers and the bias that they had, like it could have been some of that, but I was still surprised.
Well, yeah, and I think it's a slightly different type of nostalgia because I don't think there was a large quantity of people who was buying these like $500 plus boxes. I don't think the nostalgia is like I used to rip boxes of that. I think the nostalgia is like every time I looked in the Beckett magazine, every time I went to a card show, the most prized cards were these Exquisite cards. And it was always just set in my mind that like this is the card that I want to strive to achieve one day.
You remember that though when you were younger?
No, dude, I was not collecting during the Exquisite era. I stopped in like 97, 98-ish, and I didn't come back until mid-2010s.
Same.
Yeah.
I had when I came back, I was like, what's Exquisite? No idea.
Yeah. Yeah, but you made up for lost time quickly on the Exquisite front. From TJ is online for the upcoming first YouTube/Instagram basketball card Hall of Fame, which is a project that TJ is working on. We need 2 more cards from 1990 to 2012 for the ballot. Okay, so we need just 2 more cards from 1990 to 2012. They must be a retired player and not Iverson, Shaq, Kobe, and MJ, because we already have enough of their cards. Any card, base, insert, etc. Can you make a recommendation between 1990 and 2012? When I first read this question, I thought he was saying 1990 or 2012. Like we need a card for each of those years. But now that I read it more carefully,
between the years.
Between those years, yeah.
Is this like like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a popular card set or like it's the best? I always have to know that question first.
Yeah.
Is this iconic or rare?
Right. Can I recommend the game jersey autograph?
Right, because I have an iconic one.
Okay.
If you're asking me, because I assume he's already got a bunch and he's looking for something that's not on there, so I got something.
Yeah. Can I pull up your screen to show it?
Is it? You said 92?
90 to 2012.
Oh yeah.
Let me throw up your screen here.
I gotta figure out how to search this thing.
Oh yeah, the 93 finest refractor.
Yeah, I'll just give a plug to my guy, Penny Hardaway.
Penny 93 rookie year card.
That card was sick when I was a kid.
Yeah.
These cards were sick.
Okay, let me give a shout out to a card. 93 Ultra Scoring Kings, Chris Webber.
Let's go.
That was my most prized possession as a kid. I had one screw down case and I kept this card in it.
Let's go.
Or sorry, not Scoring Kings, Power in the Key. Power 1993 Ultra Power in the Key, Chris Webber.
I love stuff like this. Just like
Yeah.
random cards that you wouldn't. Oh yeah, I remember this.
Yep, this card was just my favorite card.
Were you a Chris Webber guy?
He was like my guy because of the hobby. Like him and Penny were rookies, and
We traded for each other.
yeah.
I never understood that. I still don't understand why the Hawks did that. Why would you make the pick and then immediately trade it for 2 picks later? I don't understand that.
The Hawks did that in 2018 as well.
That's what I said. Yeah, the Hawks did it with Luka, and then
Yeah.
the Warriors did it with Penny Hardaway. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, I just love that card. Just crazy 90s colors on foil.
Yeah, that's sick.
All right, there's 2 for you, TJ, but maybe DM with more instructions.
So do you have one of these or no?
Not anymore. Okay. Cardboard Insights. Okay. This is a very thoughtful. We had a lot of thoughtful questions this week. The term gimmick is used to describe tactics like the Tom Brady baseball auto card that was inserted into packs to drive demand for the product so people would buy more. It is then plastered on social media and advertised to further drive the demand. The first baseball cards were essentially gimmicks. They were premiums inserted and given away with products like candy, gum, and cigarettes just to make people want to buy more. Collectors, myself included in general, tend to get annoyed at gimmicks. Based on this definition, vintage sports cards are riddled with gimmicks, but they are adored by collectors. But many are appalled or even annoyed at the gimmick of Tom Brady. Should these be equally appalling, or has the hobby simply evolved into something much more pure that today's gimmicks feel more gimmicky? Are vintage sports card gimmicks more acceptable due to the longevity and because they feel less forced? I know that look.
I just have a shit-eating grin.
Well, first of all, I think he, throughout the course of this question, I think he worked his way to the answer.
Yeah, this is like a scientific experiment to prove vintage sports cards are overrated.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he worked his way to the answer there, which is just that over time, gimmicks become not gimmicks if they lose their gimmicky sheen. So, like, for example, you can read like Beckett magazines from the mid 90s where the refractor was a gimmick.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
right.
I think everything's origin story is a gimmick.
I'm sure Exquisite was a gimmick. $500. This isn't even cards anymore. These are, this is gambling or whatever.
Right. I think the thing about the Brady that might make it a little bit different is that it's like a gimmick on top of a gimmick, a second order gimmick. Like the sort of the notion of a like as this question points out, the notion of a sports card is like the first layer of a gimmick because it originally was a promotional material to help sell something. So like the gimmick within the gimmick element here is real. But I don't know. I don't know.
Who's laughing now? Nobody chews gum anymore. People spend millions on sports cards, so suck it, gum.
Gum is now the gimmick to promote cards.
Dude, cigarettes are basically like the most horrible thing a human can possibly do. Can you imagine walking into an airport and just smoking? You would just get screamed at.
Or like a restaurant. Like,
yeah, it's like, oh my God, look at this guy.
Maybe they need to, maybe like the gimmick magnet has flipped its poles, and now cigarettes and gum needs to be inserted into sports card packs. And now those are the gimmicks, and sports cards are.
No, but here's the zag to that. In order to sell the gum and cigarettes that nobody wants, they had to put cards in there to make them appealing. No, we don't need gum. We could sell on our own.
Very true. So maybe that's the idea, is that something like things start out as gimmicks, but then if they stand on their own, then they're no longer gimmicks.
Yeah, let the history play out on that Brady. We'll see if it's a gimmick.
Let's get to a few more here as we wrap up. From Drake's PC, if you consign a card, please rank these in order of importance to you. Payout percentage, sale price, marketing and promotion of a card, and how fast you are paid after the conclusion of the auction. So,
good question.
What do you think about marketing and promotion of the card? Like, do you really want to see like a social post? Yeah,
That's dead last.
dead last. I'm not overly concerned with that either.
No, I think that's the last thing that they'll say to try to convince you. But I'm like, but how are you going to do that? Well, put it in a magazine. Like what?
Can I go out on a limb, maybe a very short branch, and say that sale price is like number one with a bullet here?
How is it not? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
saying like, would I rather have lower taxes or have like a huge salary? Like
Right.
just give me the big salary and I'll figure out the rest later.
Yeah. So like whatever it nets out to at the end, the number one priority is for it to net out to the most.
I think the spirit of the question is like, which ones of these? Because all of them, let's assume like each of the auction houses get you a pretty similar end price. It's like which ones of these are like things that annoy you to keep you away from an auction house, or things you're looking for to separate.
Yeah.
Like when auction houses decide we're going to raise the BP to 22, like something like that might tick you off just enough, 2% wise, to bail.
How far away are we from seeing 30% BPs?
I think I saw one of them went to 23 this week.
Yep. I think we've got a few at 23 now.
I think 20 is insane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I could not say that to someone with a straight face and be like, "You're giving me 20."
Yeah. All right. I can't believe I even spoke into existence 30.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
How about 50?
Oh my god. You know what? You pay me.
110.
There's a particular entity that just woke up in the middle of the night and was like, someone put into existence that I can now charge 50.
Oh no. Okay.
Can people request to join our live on the YouTube?
No. They cannot. Okay. From Leather Helmet Cards. Leather Helmet Cards says, we'll do like one or two more. Do you think the long-term health of the hobby is better served by a deep pool of talented players across a league, or by just a few transcendent marketable stars who elevate the entire sport? I ask this thinking about Caitlin Clark, someone whose skill and dominance genuinely pulls people into the WNBA. Then there are other players who might be popular or polarizing without offering the same level of impact on the court. How much does real talents versus personality-driven hype matter in shaping what collectors care about?
I was thinking about this today, about how the NBA is just so deep and so much talent that we just keep getting different teams in the finals every year.
Yeah.
Is this kind of what is it like depth and total quality of the hobby versus you just need the top 2 or 3 to really carry it?
Yep. Here, I like, on some level, I like depth, because I think I would rather like a hobby where you have, let's call it 20 highly collectible players, and like maybe one guy's worth $10, the other guy's card is worth $9, the other guy's $8.50, the other guy's $8, the other guy's $7. I like an idea of like hobby parity across like 20 great players. I think I like that more than a winner take all market where like you have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 players who are worth $100 and everybody else is worth $2. I think I like the hobby more when there's more variety and it's more balanced.
Yeah, agreed.
Cool.
The one thing I'm gonna say is I think we're calling it the W now.
The W.
Yeah. I heard that.
Yep.
From Brett's podcast. So
Brett
I think
Brett was calling it the W.
Yeah, like I think he's changed the name. It's now just the W.
Got
Maybe it is. I just read the questions as they come in. 626 Sports Cards had a similar question. Is NBA parity good for collecting? Here, how about I jump to this one as our final one here, Josh, for you. Oh, there's one more I want to get to too. 2 more, and then we're done. This one first. Global card collectors, what are your thoughts on recent LeBron card prices? Are there any past players whose cards might comp well? So I don't know about that second part, But Josh, what do you say about the current state of LeBron card prices, just kind of as you observe it?
I haven't really observed anything outrageous. Nothing on the level of like the Pokemon jump or anything like that. There may be like, I may sense some people in my corner of the world trying to grab at some of the more rare pieces before he retires. Maybe some of that, not much of that, but nothing really that crazy. What's the second question asking?
The one about past players whose cards might comp well?
Like players older than him? Oh, like maybe he's thinking like someone we can look to see what might happen to his card prices after he retires?
Maybe. Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, we need a little more clarity here.
I just don't know that there's that many players to comp to LeBron. It's like MJ and
yeah, especially not like on the basketball level. Like there's two totally different comps here. It's like who are his like historical basketball comps, and it's like Tim Legler put out a top 10 list before this season that I just stumbled into on YouTube last night, and he had a tier 1, which was 3 players, which was Kareem, LeBron, and Jordan. And I think those guys are in their own tier. Now, in terms of the hobby, I think there's a different tier of 3. I think it's LeBron, Jordan, and Kobe.
Yeah.
So I think it's and I don't think it's a coincidence that Asia is a big force in why it's those 3.
Maybe Brady is a decent comp.
Even on a card level, I think LeBron's card market is quite stronger than Brady's.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like someone who played late into their years and recently.
Maybe Mahomes. Mahomes is maybe a bit of a LeBron comp. Where like Mahomes is very LeBron-esque in that he's this incumbent who's ahead of schedule, who is rapidly chasing the ghost of the guy with this sort of just like uncountable stats from a prior era.
Yeah, that's good.
I think LeBron might be the comp. I mean, Mahomes might be the comp.
Brady's the MJ in this scenario.
Yeah. And like very similar to how like Brady and MJ kind of have these like Brady's rookie cards are 2000s and like MJ's are 90s, and like just objectively LeBron and Mahomes have way cooler cards.
Yeah, that's a good comp.
Nice. And this is the last one I want to get to.
Good.
Oh, and then we have like 4 GameStop questions. I don't know if you want to riff on that at all. But before those.
Kind of.
Okay, yeah, I kind of think we need to. Okay. But first we have Matt Bubar. We have 2 Matt Bubars, by the way, who listen. This shout out to this Matt Bubar. You know who you are. On the last podcast, you discussed the top 25 in 25 survey that Adam, the Real 27 guy, put out, and how it's difficult to make a list of iconic cards, or that how you can't really make a list of iconic cards. But according to Card Ladder, the cards in the CL50 index were selected based on their perceived status as iconic cards. So I'm just wondering how they're different. So let me fire up, because I thought about this question throughout the day. It was a really good question. And I'm not sure if it's totally... I think there was a little more nuance to our discussion on the iconic cards than simply that you can't make a list. I think it's really difficult to make a list, and it's difficult to figure out what methodology should be used to answer or fill in that list. But I'm not sure if it's impossible. And I'm not sure if we said it was impossible or not. I mean, it's not a bad summary, but I dispute that characterization just slightly. I think there's a little more nuance in that. But even if we grant it, the reason why the CL50 is a little bit different is because there was a consistent methodology used there, which was pulling up the market cap and sorting based on market cap, and then figuring out which cards have the largest market cap, which is just taking the population in a particular grade and multiplying it by the last sold price. And then that was used to determine which cards, quote, fit this criteria of selected based on their perceived status as iconic.
And 1 card per player.
So that was the approach that we used. And I think some of the confusion on the 27 guy survey was like, what approach should be used?
It was both. It was a mix. There was 1-of-ones and there was iconic.
Right. Exactly. And the 1-of-ones get blown out if we do a market cap approach. Like what's Josh, do you have available, what's the market cap, the highest market cap of a single card and a single grade on Card Ladder right now? It's probably, I'm just going to it's north of 100 million, I believe.
Nope.
No? What is it?
Close. It used to be, I bet.
Yeah, it definitely used to be.
Which grade of the MJ Fleer do you think it is?
9.
8.
8. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
There's
the 8.
thousands of 8s, right?
Yeah, the PSA 8 and the PSA 10 are the top two at 70 million, and then the Mickey Mantle PSA 9, Mickey Mantle PSA 8, and then the MJ PSA 9, and then the Pokemon Umbreon VMAX. Tell me there's a bubble with Pokemon without telling me. Holy shit! It's like MJ, Mickey Mantle, MJ, Mickey Mantle, Pokemon.
What's the market cap on that Umbreon?
$42 million.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
It's worth 2,500 a piece, and the pop is 17,000.
That's wild. Okay,
That's incredible.
definitely enjoy that question from B-Bar. Okay, let's hop down here to the GameStop. Okay, so we got 3 on GameStop. Actually, we got a few more on GameStop, but I just put 3. DeBird's PC says, how excited will you be to work for GameStop? Wookie Hunter says, is GameStop the future of the hobby? TJ Online says, hey, Josh, Chris, and Kristina. Oh, sorry, that is not a GameStop. That was a different question. Sorry, I only put 2. But there were a few more GameStop questions too. I was just watching the game and I said, well, if we get to the GameStop, 2 questions is enough. So what do you think about Rumors of Collectors, which is the parent company of Card Ladder, which is a company that we work for and once founded? What do you think about the rumors that we might one day work for GameStop?
Well, the Reddit sleuths were out in full force following activity of what GameStop was doing. They were like building up cash, and people thought it was to buy collectors, and then there was some other activity that I won't get into, but it was interesting to watch that. I didn't really think much of it because we hadn't heard anything about it. So, but I will give a funny tidbit that Nat texted me, and he's like, dude, you were this close to being a manager at a GameStop store. I thought that was funny. Very clever timing.
Nice. That's great. I believe representatives of collectors are on the record. I believe they went on the record to CLLCT.
Yep.
And maybe to other sources too. I know I definitely saw the CLLCT article, and they said, the representative of collectors said that there is no truth to the idea that collectors is being acquired by GameStop, at least at this time. So
there it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is there like an official disclaimer language there?
Like a quote, you mean?
Yeah. Or a summary of a quote
from Nat. No, I don't see one. It just says what you said. Multiple senior officials push back.
Okay.
A senior PSA official confirmed there are no plans.
No plans. Okay. No plans for acquisition. Senior PSA official. There you go. All right. What about the other part of this question, which is GameStop the future of the hobby?
I don't know. The hobby is the future of the hobby, dude. It's a bottom-up hobby. I'll say it like that.
Yeah, maybe you could almost turn this question around and say, is the hobby the future of GameStop?
There you go. That's a much better question because their website would indicate it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree with you. The hobby is a bottom-up thing. The hobby is a wild west of collectors who...
You know how I know?
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
If we all decided to stop collecting Kaboom, they would fucking stop making Kaboom.
Right.
The companies are reacting to what the people want. It's a bottom-up system. People are the tastemakers, and then the companies react.
Nice. All right, you ready to wrap this thing up here?
It's way past my bedtime.
Yeah.
I'm in Mountain World too, so it's like I'm extra tired.
All right, let's get through these quickly.
I'm already laughing at these.
Kristina, can you come read these? Bring yourself up to the stage.
Yeah.
Okay. That
Okay.
helps me be more objective about these. Okay, let's
Okay.
go.
The Vietnamese dong. Very cool. I'm about to be a pro Tatum guy.
Okay.
Captive audience.
Yep.
I'll put some people to work. Hedge fund bros.
Yeah.
Collecting algorithm.
Yep.
That's the most offensive thing you could possibly say to me.
Yep.
Sorry, if anyone's reading this with me, it wasn't me. Like, it didn't make sense the way that Stiff wrote it. Thanks, Stiff. Next we
what's
have
with the throw under the bus?
next we have a reminder you need to drink water.
I like that one, not because on its face it's like super funny, but it's very funny when you think about what produced it.
Yeah.
Suck it, gum. The hobby is the future of the hobby.
Suck it, gum.
This is the one you guys laughed at the most. Suck it, gum.
I have a clear favorite.
Well, you do.
Yeah.
I have. Okay, hold on. I really like suck a gum, but that's ridiculous.
What does that mean? I don't remember what that.
That was the Topps cards.
Oh
used to
yeah,
be
the
a
gimmick question.
marketing gimmick. Yeah.
Yeah, gum sucks. I have two.
Okay.
Let's see if Kristina, do you have any that are sticking out?
I mean, captive audience always works, as well as I'll put some people to work.
Yeah, you like those two because they like speak to your national experience because like you're planning our national booth and like you're so involved in that right now.
I'm like super stressed right now. Yeah.
Well, that was one of mine.
Okay, what's your other one?
I kind of have three now. I like that one, a reminder to drink water, and the hobby is the future of the hobby.
Yep. So my two favorite definitely were a reminder you need to drink water. That's like the clear number one. And then my number two was the hobby is the future of the hobby. But which is funny, but it also could be like it could play as like a stupid slogan, you know? Like a little too aspirational sounding and not sarcastic / ridiculous enough for us.
Yes.
So I want to go with a reminder that you need to drink water.
Yep.
That's just a vintage crossover title.
Yeah, like what do we get out of having something more serious of a title? We get nothing out of it.
No.
Right.
That's true.
It's like the perfect median of silly and.
So what's the emoji? Is it going to be like the sprinkle water?
Oh yeah, you got plenty of options.
Isn't there a water cup? I think there is like a cup with water in it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Probably.
And that will forever commemorate the first reference to the piss jug.
And the Kobe credentials.
Yeah, the original inspiration, which is a credentials card. All right.
Also,
it's kind of amazing how a credentials discoloration resulted in
urine.
A PSA, a public service announcement about drinking water.
I would also like to point out that Stiff has volunteered to read the titles next week. So
nice. Bring them on. Let's go. I'm waiting. The world is waiting for Stiff's debut.
Yeah.
If he ever jumps in as the fourth box, people are going to lose their minds.
Yeah. There's going to be riots in the hobby.
All right, guys.
Speaking of, if anyone's doing anything tomorrow, please be safe.
Oh no, you're talking about the riots.
I'm just saying, like if tomorrow's
Saturday.
Saturday.
Right? Do not run me over if you see me in the street. Please respect us, protesters. Thank you.
We will just be inside, so that's fine.
Yeah. And people have places to go, so extend some grace to people who have to work or whatever, All right. Anyway,
That's gonna do it. We will see you guys next crossover if there is one.
might not.